Hello, everyone. It's Rachel. I just woke up. It's currently 5 a.m. and I decided to record this because there's something I prayed about, and the Lord just showed me like I have to do it before it's too late. So here I am recording this video. In case you haven't seen from the title, this video is not a general word. It's a specific one. I don't think it's a general word because I was showing a specific person. However, if it resonates with you, go figure, go figure. Um, it's surprising actually that I actually saw Alwyn in my dreams. But because I don't always watch his videos, before the stream, I don't even remember the last time I watched the video, but he came. So I thought, okay, maybe the reason why I was in awareness of him was for the stream. So I know God doesn't make mistakes. And yeah, so this is, what he showed me was something that I think Owen needs to know. I'm sure he might already be aware of it, a bit like, remember how Paul was being told things, but he already knew, he already knew what to expect. So I'm just here to follow instructions and remind him and give him confirmation for what I'm sure he might already know, and hopefully it's helpful. So yeah, I'll start with today's dream. What happened was I prayed to God, asking him if I should tell Alwyn this, like just for extra confirmation, if I should tell him. And today he revealed to me that I was like at some airport. I was at an airport, like different planes were landing, were being given different specific instructions of where to walk and stuff, so we don't get caught up in the plane. And during the process of finding places to walk so we don't get caught up in the plane, that's where Owen spotted me, and it's like God had already told him about me because he recognized me immediately. So he pulled me to the side and was like, he carried me. And this is when I noticed that for sure what God had told me about him had become true. He was walking perfectly, and I was so surprised and pleasantly surprised, so to say. And I told him, like, oh my gosh, it's already happened. And he said, yeah. I said, walking perfectly. Where have you been? God told me you're supposed to tell me something. And I I was ashamed because I hadn't told him yet. I didn't know how to reach him. And I didn't want to put it in a YouTube video because I thought maybe something so specific, something so discreet that I shouldn't. But right now I don't know if there's any other way I can reach him, so that's why I'm putting it in a video. And so I began telling him the dreams that I had. What I had, the first dream I had was he was finally being able to move his legs again. The first dream I had, he was not yet walking. He was perfectly, he wasn't walking perfectly, so to say. He was now finally beginning to move his legs and everything. It happened around the time, a few days before he released a video called, what video was that? Because I went looking for him after I saw the dreams. What video is that? I think it was called A Painful, something about a painful progress with my journey. I'll Google the name and I'll write it down. But yeah, it was that video. And I remember in my dream when I saw him like moving his legs, but what I was in my dream, how it was I was watching I was watching it was like a documentary testimony thing, something in the mix of that, and he was just showing that he is finally like beginning to move his legs on his own and walk. And but he was like explaining it in the scene I saw. He was explaining it to one of his friends, like a female friend. I don't know if she was a friend or family member. And the scene cuts, and I remember when I finished watching it, I hadn't even watched this documentary by then, but in my dream I was watching it. I didn't even realize there was a full-on documentary. I was telling my friend, I was like, hey, did you know this guy started to walk again? And they wouldn't believe me. He was like, oh, he was probably just faking it the whole time. I'm like, no, he has not been faking it. So, one of the first things I got from that message was that if Alwyn had not been recording his journey, which I think is so profound that he is doing it even before this miracle happens, nobody would believe him because so many things are fake these days. People won't believe him. But I just wanted to reaffirm that what he's doing is great. What he's doing is important. What he's doing is so important to his testimony. And I'm so glad he's following the prompting of God to be doing it. At the time when I was telling my friend that, it's like some person noticed me talking about Alwyn. And when I saw them looking at me, I started to walk away. And they started to follow me at the same pace. I started running. They started running. And they were following me and chasing me. And when they finally caught up to me, they were like, hey, tell me what you're telling that guy. So I'm already seeing monitoring spirits coming. They want to see, they want to hear what's going on. I feel like there's a lot of activity around Alwyn right now. Either right now or when this does happen, there's a lot of activity like with his angels and stuff. And I'm sure the kingdom of darkness wants to know what's going on, but they don't know what's going on. So the monitoring spirits are going to start coming around to try and find out what's going on so that they can find a way to block the progress. But when that person was asking me, I woke up. I think God woke me up from that because I wouldn't talk to them. I wouldn't tell them because I didn't, for some reason my intuition just felt uncomfortable telling them. So I woke up, and then immediately I woke up, I fell back asleep. I fell back asleep, but this time I still dreamt about Alwyn, but it was a different scenario. This time I saw him seated down on like what seemed to be an elevated spot off the ground. It was made of like planks and everything, and he was talking to, I think, the same lady he was showing about the legs. And honestly, I don't know what the lady symbolizes. It could be the Holy Spirit, it could be a family member or a friend, but he was talking to the same lady. And this time she was recording him and he was explaining his testimony, like because it has come to completion now, he was like making his proper testimony. And while he was doing that, it was in some sort of warehouse building, and it had two doorways. I think there were other doorways down the warehouse. It was huge, but all I know is that I was standing like in between the doorway and where he was seated on the elevated platform place. And I noticed a black car park outside, and my intuition just went crazy. I felt uncomfortable with it, so I ran to the door and I locked the door. I didn't even have the time to lock like the grill door outside. I only had the chance to lock like the inner door, and I went to the other side and locked that door as well. And when I came back, I noticed there was these two men standing outside the door trying to open the door. They were all dressed in black. I couldn't see their faces. They were just covered in black. And I already knew it was bad. So I decided to tell Alwyn, like, hey, I told him, hey, there's these two men outside. I don't think it's safe here. You need to leave. And as I was telling him that, that's how I woke up from that dream when I was warning him. So already the kingdom of darkness, when they did get aware, they're not happy about it. They're trying to block him from giving his testimony, um, or worse, and before it's able to reach people. So I think during that time, Alan, you need to be very careful with where you are. Just like you just need to take extra safety precautions with the people around you, with where you are, with your security, because the kingdom of darkness will not be happy. I think it's possible in any country. It doesn't matter where you are, you know. All I know is God got you. He's going to protect you. He's going to send warnings like these to you before things happen, just to let you know, because this is what God always does. He warns his people. He warns them before something happens, and I'm just here to be obedient. And so let me go back to today's dream. So that's how I told him about these other dreams in today's dream, and he seemed quite nervous. um we were all huddled. It was me, him, and his whole team, like all huddled in some room. And that was at the point when I was telling him, like, the kingdom of darkness is not happy that your testimony has come to life, because it's going to turn a lot of people to God. It is going to be of such a profound testimony that so many souls are going to get saved, and the devil does not want that, because it is going to be such a mass deliverance with one testimony. And we were all in the room just wondering what to do because we're all huddled in the room, closed the door, like we locked the door. And because the time I was telling him all this, it was like the people had already arrived. The people I was warning him about, and there was like helicopters outside, parading outside, looking for him. There was helicopters outside looking for him, and we just didn't know what to do because he was about to speak. For some reason, it's like that place where we were was where he was about to speak like to a large audience, and he was about to speak to a large audience, and before he could get on stage, now he's finding all this out, and we don't even know if it's safe to get on stage anymore or how to proceed with the show. And yeah, that's where it ended. So I just hope this reaches you. I'm just doing what I need to. It's a warning to just take heed and to be careful with your, and to be mindful of your surroundings, just to be careful. But otherwise, yeah. I wish you well, Alvin, and I hope this reaches you in time, and praying for you.